Sylvia remained impassive, simply stating whatever, which only further agitated Ephereine. Then, Sylvia dropped a startling piece of information. Deculin hadn't stepped foot in a lab for 3 years, not since Epherine's father had passed away. Ephereine scoffed dismissively in response, remarking that of course he hadn't. Deculin was useless without her genius father's guidance. Sylvia countered sharply, asking if Ephereine knew then that Deculin had actually been visiting the lab daily for the past 3 months, explaining that he had cleaned it, chosen an assistant, and even brought in new equipment. Sylvia asked pointedly what Ephereine thought that meant, causing a horrifying possibility to dawn on Ephereine. There was no way he was planning to exploit her father's research again, was there? Surely, Deculin wasn't capable of continuing it himself. Her fist clenched tightly. Ephereine questioned how Sylvia would even know if he was trying something, dismissing it as typical Professor Deculin behavior, but then asked what it had to do with her. Sylvia gave a slight, knowing smile in return. She merely thought Ephereine didn't know, and seeing her reaction was evidently enough information for her. With that, Sylvia turned and walked away, leaving Ephereine staring after her, feeling deeply unsettled. Several days later, the magnificent university tower gleamed under a bright sky. It was the day of the next lecture. The open practical students gathered outside, murmuring amongst themselves in anticipation. Ephereine and Julie wondered why a practical session was being held in such an open area and what Deculin could possibly be planning. Suddenly, Julie flinched, spotting Beck nearby. Her friend quickly restrained her, reminding her gently to be the bigger person and let it go, while internally calling Beck that bastard again. Deculin's arrival commanded immediate silence from the assembled students. The lecture had begun. He reminded them that today was the final practical before midterms. With a flourish of his hand, the scene shifted dramatically, revealing a large open arena packed with eager spectators. Today's lecture, he announced grandly, will be a public practical. Ephereine and Julie stared, awestruck by the sheer number of people watching. Deculin explained they would demonstrate magic combat before the audience, stating they were to fight using any magic they could manifest, ensuring at least 3 forms of pure elemental magic were utilized during their duels. He clarified that winning or losing didn't matter. He would focus entirely on the fight itself, observing their strengths and weaknesses to provide feedback for improvement afterwards. Professor Reen, standing nearby, would supervise the matches to prevent serious injury, meaning no restrictions would be placed on their magic use during the fights, a duty Reen accepted eagerly with a nod. Deculin then began the class by calling the first student, Eurozin, who nervously stepped forward to choose an opponent. 2 students then took their places in the arena before Deculin declared the matches were to start immediately. The magic duels progressed smoothly, with students leaping, dodging, and casting various spells with increasing confidence. Deculin observed intently, clipboard in hand, while Reel flinched nervously at the powerful displays unfolding before him. Though initially awkward, the students soon focused, unleashing their magic with growing confidence. Soon, Sylvia stood victorious over her defeated opponent. Beck and another student snickered nearby, mocking the losing commoner and suggesting they would be better off cleaning gardens instead of fighting. Ephereine glared at them, calling them cruel bastards under her breath, though admitting Sylvia was indeed strong in her own way. She shouted encouragement to the retreating student, Parrot, who had lost. Deculin then called Beck's name next. Beck stepped forward confidently, his choice immediate and malicious, Ephereine. Ephereine grimaced at the challenge, but thought this was probably for the better, allowing her to confront him. They faced each other in the arena. Beck taunted her, asking if she'd be okay without her secret tutor by her side, implying she cheated. Ephereine retorted, tired of his nonsense, asking if trash talk was basic manners for him and adding that he looked lame trying to copy Deculin's style of grand pronouncements. Green energy flared around Ephereine as she vowed inwardly she'd show him his own magic was lame too. Enraged by her words and power, Beck demanded to know what the vermin had just said to him. Beck powered up further, vowing maliciously to help her meet her parents with a blast of golden energy. The powerful attack shot directly towards Ephereine, causing shouts of concern from the crowd. Beck sneered, calling her a dumbass for standing her ground, but his magic faltered unexpectedly, disrupted by Epherine's innate magical interference ability. Ephereine smirked in triumph, stating an old saying came to mind when dealing with arrogant nobles like him: a good beating perfectly suits a noble. A massive fist made of green mana slammed into Beck, launching him spectacularly into the air like he'd been yeeted into orbit, soaring high above the arena. Julie cheered Ephereine on loudly, adding with a laugh that no such saying actually existed, that Ephereine had just made it up. Beck crashed back to earth with a groan, dazed and confused from the impact. Ephereine stood over him, asking how it felt to be destroyed by her. Beck could only manage a curse about the lucky commoner as the win was declared for Ephereine by the system. Ephereine then approached Deculin, complaining that the fight had finished too quickly because her idiotic opponent couldn't even hold his ground, thus failing to provide a proper show for the spectators, and she asked the professor for one more chance to demonstrate her magic. She explained that the practical required using 3 types of pure elemental magic, but her opponent was so weak she only needed one spell to finish it instantly, leaving her evaluation incomplete. Deculin conceded her point, agreeing that it was illogical to end her evaluation like this due to her opponent's weakness and insufficient challenge. He agreed, allowing her to choose anyone present in the arena for a new opponent. Ephereine turned, a determined glint in her eyes, as she pointed directly at Deculin, declaring she wanted to fight him.